Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning and thank you for being with us. It is Good Morning Uganda agenda. Well, people are jubilating because they're back to work. And one of the things that you should note as you've come back to work following the president easing in the lockdown, the situation is not at its best. So please be mindful of COVID-19. The enemy is still with us. He's gone nowhere. He could have changed tactics in terms of the lockdown, that now the numbers, the positivity rate is coming down, but do not be part of the statistics. Perfect the art of soaps. Let's together join hands, being each other's watch over if they do not implement soaps. So please, that's the only way we can flourish and enjoy motherland Uganda as we wait for vaccination. We rightly know for third world countries, this is a problem in terms of acquiring, purchasing, but vaccination must find you alive. And how do you do that? Perfect soaps. Once again, I'm Robert Chirabo, and this is Good Morning Uganda Agenda. Today we are going to be discussing an issue of national interest, like I always tell you, and this time it is for the business community. Many a times, COVID-19 has posed challenges to businesses. Some have totally closed. Others are staggering. Some may not end the year. And of course, statistics indicate that most of the SMEs do not live to see their first birthday. They actually collapse. But with me in studios, I'm privileged to have a person who is going to be giving us more tips how to sail through this time. That is building business resiliency in the new normal. Things are no longer the same, but there must be a way to work things out so that you continue thriving, you and your business. Remember, even the entire economy, we are expecting that is about 22 trillion of our budget from domestically earned revenue. That means the economy must stand amidst all these challenges. So I have a man who is going to be giving us some shock observers at such a time, and that is Dennis Ngabirano, who is the CEO of Sam's Food Industries. Dennis, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you for hosting me this morning at UBC. I request to relax my mask for purposes of clear
proper
viewership
communication
and proper communication.
Please go ahead. Well, after that, good enough, there's social distancing, well recommended, more than even 1 meter there, but please do not try this in a place where there is no social distancing. It's not safe at all. It's sanitized and it's safe to go. Dennis, let's begin by understanding, you own a company. When you talk about COVID-19, we had the lockdown. How did you as an individual and your business manage to sail through? How did this treat you?
Thank you once again, Robert. When it comes to hard times like the COVID-19 and the lockdown, you have to look at the situation at hand and analyze it as an individual. You have to understand that some of the setbacks that present in the day-to-day running of business are not setbacks that have come to stay. We must have that positive thinking. You must have the positive energy in you. To understand, to digest, to shock absorb. And after accepting the situation, you lay strategies. But such strategies begin with you as an individual, then at the organization level, and maybe at national level. But then, when we look at the first lockdown, the experiences that we went through as private sector or as a person in the private sector, and then the second lockdown happened to come in close to a year later, actually a year later. So it has been a challenge, but at the same time, an opportunity for those who are prepared, who were able to pick lessons from the first lockdown to prepare for such similar scenarios that are seemingly recurring, yet the end is not yet so clear. So when we hear of the second wave, other countries have already experienced the third wave and the fourth wave. So I must say it's not yet over. The partial lifting of the lockdown has just helped us to, the government has helped us by relaxing a little bit. But then we must be very, very cautious when it comes to observing SOPs. We must understand that the struggle continues, but above all, we must also look at our colleagues out there who are hurt, who have been affected greatly or beyond what we imagine. So it's not an issue of SAMS for the industries or then Singabirano, but this is a national and a global issue.
Well, Dennis, you've mentioned about three fronts that someone has to go through if they are to build resiliency of their business at such a time. First was individual work, that yes, you have a mindset. Let's go through this because I know we are helping someone who is having a small business, SME, and they're struggling. So how do you work on first your personality, you as a person in a business amidst this time as you prepare for the new normal? What, please take us through what is very important at personal level.
At personal level, you and I must be healthy.
Okay, that is one, yes.
That's one. I must be strong enough. I must be healthy. You must be healthy to cause an interaction, to mitigate strategies on how to protect others. Two, at business level, you must be able to protect or to improve on the safety of your employees. For those of you who are out there and they are employing quite a number of people in your organizations, employee protection or safety should be put at the forefront. Our colleagues who are selling our products should equally consider protecting the customers, safety of the customers. Imagine if I walked into your supermarket and I happened to contract COVID-19 from your supermarket. I don't think I will spread good news. It will be bad news on your side and on my side. So a protection of customers is another strategy that has to be put in place. So when it comes to the customer relationship, how have you improved on service delivery? So as SAMS Food Industries Limited, we have tried to launch an online shopping platform. So to the customers out there who are unable to walk in the supermarkets to access our snacks, we found it wise in this situation to launch an online platform whereby someone can just visit our website, www.samsfoodindustrieslimited.com, and you shop online. So the products will be delivered at your door. So when beyond, we keep analyzing the trends, the devastating effects of COVID-19 or the lockdown itself are quite many. Today, central bank lowered, not today actually, just recently, it lowered the CBR rate from 10 to 6.5. But commercial banks
yes,
have not lowered their interest rates. So what does this mean? It means that the government has made an effort to protect businesses out there. But there is still need for the government to enforce the implementation of such strategies to ensure that businesses thrive or businesses survive during the current pandemic.
Talking about business surviving, because I know there is a person who is having a business and maybe it is almost collapsing and they're about to give up. So we are trying to understand how best we can ensure, create hope, and not only hope, how this business can survive. You've talked about working on the personality. You've given us protecting yourself to be healthy, protecting the people that are working for you, and also adjusting to different forms of how best people can get your products. What other measures or tips can people borrow to ensure that they survive and adjust to the new normal?
I will quote one writer who said that a sea to exist, there must be a contribution of waters. There is a contribution of raindrops. There is a contribution of rivers and tributaries. There is a contribution of treated sewage. So when I analyze that, I get to understand that the issue of COVID-19 and its devastating effects on businesses is not only a government's responsibility to help one another. There is a common saying which we used to hear it in the first lockdown, that but now, between you and I, what have you done to help yourself first, but at the same level to help others?
How does this apply to sustaining my business or seeing my business thrive in the new normal?
It applies in a sense that, assuming I'm selling crisps, and my neighbor is not selling their portion, or the supermarket which stocked mattresses, beddings, cups and stationery, they are not selling out. It means one section of the supermarket will be active, and that will create an imbalance. So protecting my interests must not go selfishly. There must be a win-win, because a happy customer will walk in to buy my product. So if your business is thriving, even mine can thrive. So when it comes to extending some of the services and the skills, assuming I'm a counseling psychologist, indeed I am by profession, if I offered a word of encouragement to someone who is struggling out there, I strongly believe it would be a stronger gesture of instilling hope into this struggling person who has been possibly thinking about closing. But beyond that, there are other strategies that you and I, or someone who is struggling out there in the business, can get to apply. We've heard about the government introducing the stimulus package. The government has released the funds. into UDB.
Uganda Development Bank.
And funds have also been released in Uganda Microfinance Support Center.
Yes.
But a few have benefited from such stimulus funds.
Ngabirano, many of the people in businesses like you're doing and SMEs are saying that these monies are being taken advantage of by big established companies, that they have failed to be, being able to access this money. And I remember, since I hosted, that is a spokesperson of Kasita, told me, Chiraba, I challenge you, any of our members who has been able to get this money, have you been privileged to show interest and successfully get these sums of money?
When it comes to sharing on the national, I can compare it to a national cake. A national cake is always shared by those who are prepared to share on it. When it comes to money from UDB and the money from the Uganda Microfinance Support Center, the two institutions have what we call checklists. A checklist from UDB for me to qualify to get let's say 500 million and above is the same checklist that will apply to the person applying for 10 billion. They have a standard checklist which is up to international standards. So they will ask you, bring approved plans, bring a certificate of incorporation, bring audited books of accounts. Now, for someone who has been in informal sector and they have not been compliant, definitely they will not benefit from such a package. So such a package is being taken by the big companies or the big shots simply because they are complying. They have the right requirements to receive that money. But when it comes to the smaller businesses whose stimulus package has been channeled through the Uganda Microfinance Support Center, and that is in the parish development model. The parish development model, I see it failing to apply in Kampala because most of the business people within Kampala, they don't stay within here. And there are quite multiple businesses that very many young men and women are engaged in. So their interests are not matching. So when it comes to those who are outside Kampala, the information has not been sufficiently delivered to the right beneficiaries of such monies. So there is need at government level now to increase on the sensitization. Because I heard yesterday the Honorable Minister for Microfinance, Mr. Honorable Kasoro, reported that 260 billion has been released.
The other papers have indicated 15 billion released for the, for the parish model.
The parish model, but how many people have benefited? Right Honorable Deputy Speaker was tasking the minister to present accountability. Who are those that have received the money? So there is need for proper accountability. There is need for the government to fast track such activities. Otherwise, it may be a wastage of time. It may be the money may not get to the right recipients at the end of the day, or at the end of the day still, the money may be not picked up because the recipients are lacking the right information.
Ngabirano, as we talk about building that is business resiliency in the new normal, one of the challenges that many businesses are facing is taxes. Many have said we are coming from a time of COVID-19, that is the lockdown, this is partially opening of the economy, but they have taxes. And many feel maybe this is going to be something that may eventually lead to their collapsing. But yet paying tax is an obligation. That's why we've not seen government bodies, because you pay tax of profits, saying that, okay, now this and that, you will not be paying tax. How best can businesses handle this issue?
Robert, one thing you must understand, and which I strongly believe that everyone out there has come to understand is the mere fact that COVID-19, which led to a lockdown, the lockdown itself caused a very huge drop in the aggregate demand. So the demand for goods and services out there is extremely low. Even some of us who are in manufacturing and they were able to trade during the lockdown, still businesses were at 50%. An indicator that we could not break even during that period of time. But it so happens that the financial year began a month ago. And when the financial year began, the government had introduced quite a number of new taxes. Yes. And this is when I come in to propose that government of the Republic of Uganda should relax on the implementation of the new taxes simply because they are also aware of what is going on. They are seeing the situation. URA, the targets they set, they have seen the effect. So the collections are very, very low.
2 trillion.
So it is common sense that the government should look into this matter with the highest level of urgency. When it comes to such voices, I, Kasita, and the rest who have come out to express our pleas to the government, we strongly expect to hear, but we've not had anything. But relaxing such tax measures for at least a year or two, it would cause business sense. Many businesses that are struggling out there, they need to recover. Because even when government dispenses money into the Microfinance Support Center and UDB, the moment you grab my package, it doesn't mean that the following day I'm going to start making profits. So I may need to have a grace period to reorganize myself. But then when it comes to other issues like the landlords, we've had landlords downtown who are welding doors, they are locking, they are adding additional padlocks on the arcades so that the tenants can be forced to pay. Definitely, such people in business who have been under lockdown, really they cannot handle during this situation. But now, I think a matter of applying a negotiation strategy. And negotiation is going to be at 2 levels, at micro level and at macro level. Now, at micro level, between you and I, assuming you are my landlord, I will have to come and negotiate with you because the government failed to negotiate with the landlords, because landlords who built those arcades, they will also say, they are saying they borrowed money from banks, and the banks are also not regulated because at the end of the day, a central bank will have to look at the non-performing loans and penalize them. So between the landlord and the business owner, there should be that form of negotiation to ensure that there is continuity of business. Some of us who have suppliers, like what some food industries have done, we have tried to engage our suppliers to relax on the terms of payment. If I've been paying you fortnightly, I'm asking that please allow me pay after 30 days. When it comes to engaging the customers, are you able to innovate? Are you innovative enough to make sure that you catch up with the interests of the customers? Improving on customer retention at this time is very, very, very crucial.
Otherwise, that is what most of Ugandans do not really look at. When in business, when you go to a shop owned by an Indian, right from the entrance, the customer care. Sometimes when some would give funny gifts, a sweet or something like that, to retain a client. It's not what actually we see when it comes to our businesses owned by Ugandans. I must be very specific.
Actually, we have done it, and some customers were like, this is not normal. Maybe last month launched a bundling program, buy one, get one free. And some customers were like, maybe they are selling expired products. But it's because they are not used to such packages during hard times. So we are trying to champion such a strategy of giving back to our customers. That when you buy one crisp, you get an additional free pack. So customers out there who have seen such a bundling program, we are not trying to dispose expired products, but we are just giving back to our customers during this hard time. But now, beyond this, when it comes to URA, I strongly believe once you get to engage them at a personal level, they will listen, because restructuring of the payment plan is possible. We have tested it with our area URA office, and we faced them. We've told them, please, look here, businesses are down. Allow us pay in installments, and they have listened. So a word of encouragement to all fellow businessmen and women out there, let's do not lose hope, because we strongly believe that we must look at the long term. The short-term setbacks, let's rethink about the setbacks with a positive energy and focus on the long-term missions rather than focusing on the short-term setbacks. We shall get there.
I want to thank you. That is Dennis Ngabirano, who is the CEO, Sam's Food Industries. Thank you for giving some of the tips of how businesses can thrive at such a time. Positive mindset is one thing I've learned. Changing your attitude and mentality, knowing that there is light at the end of the tunnel, but also dialoguing with key stakeholders in this business and customer retention. Those are some of the things that you have to prioritize if you're going to thrive or you're going to have your business move through this trying moment. Have a lovely day. I'll leave you with Ruben Kaseda Chibira. I'm going to take you through the world of sports. Then Jagana will be here, take you through Good Morning Uganda Extra. Stay safe. COVID is real. COVID is around, but we can avoid